Okay, we're gonna do a special VOD review where I jump ahead a little bit in the list here, help out Frosky, who's struggling on Psylocke a little bit. And I just opened this up, so I actually don't know what's gonna happen. So we're just gonna play it out and see where we can find areas to improve. Is this reticle just a dot? That's actually like incredibly like minimalistic. I dig it. I like this angle. Your team is diving. Yeah, I think this is good. Like, yeah, because of that right there. Oh, it was a little dangerous. The only thing I'll say there. Let's go back farther. This was good. I like this because you can see, like, as your team is engaging, like, there's no one paying attention to the Hulk, so it makes it easy to blow his resources. Yeah, you dash back up, probably not realizing the Black Panther was there, and then getting out is the right call. Because now you don't have any cooldowns. Now we got to play safe. You can play this angle. Watch the hook. Keep an eye on the Black Panther. You know he's back there. Yep, that's why. There you go. There you go. Here's what I'll say is, like, after you got the pick, it's a good thing Rocket didn't die. But if we take a look back here, your team gets the pick on Bucky, right? And the moment that your team gets the pick on Bucky and you look over and you had previously seen through the broken wall that Black Panther, or you could hear him swiping and you could see that, right? When you know that he's there and you already know that they're down 1-2 now, now you can go on the just cleanup mode where he can't do anything without his team anyway, and you don't want him getting a quick accidental pick on your supports. With that many people down, if you leave your team to take care of him, your team is going to be fine managing the other three. So you can take this as an opportunity to just go deal with him immediately. Like, it's a good thing it works out and that, you go and you fight. Nope, don't keep your eyes off of him. I think that might bite you in the butt later. Nope, that works out. Sort of. But then your Venom died. How did your Venom die? Oh, he was just doing Venom things. Okay. I'm glad you got the res, but here, what I don't like about this position is the fact that everybody is all grouped up, right? I personally would prefer to see you more on like an angle over here. You have this box as cover. If you needed to, you could possibly even walk into this room and be shooting from the side and then dash back because you have your resources, right? But when you're in this area next to your team, all Bucky needs to do is shoot down this way, and he's going to accidentally start hitting you, right? And I'm pretty sure that's what happens here. Yeah. You get res, which is great, but it's like now your team is down the res. Now we're out in the open again. Yes, good. Good angle. Yes. Good. What I would have done there instead is instead of needing to dash after my ult was up, I personally, when I know that my ult isn't going to succeed, I start moving into a different position after my ult is about to end, where I think to myself, where do I want to be when this ult ends, right? Do I want to be over here? Do I want to be back here? To me personally, I think right here looks like a pretty good spot because then I just know I just need to wait until the Luna's ult, or yeah, till the Luna's ult wears off. Because the problem here is that this now is just a wasted resource, right? Like you had a dash and then you had to use one and your cloak in order to get someplace like safer, where you could have just ended the ult someplace safer. That was good. Stay alive. Oh, the cloak. Okay. There's a lot of chaos going on right now. I personally saw the cloak immediately and was like, "Oh, she's juicy. Maybe your Spider-Man gets her." Spider-Man gets her though. Um, that was a little too aggressive because of the fact that you're so even though that they're low, the only person you possibly could have like gotten close to killing with a dash would have been Cloak and Dagger. These guys don't have enough missing health for you to do much of anything. So I personally would have tried to stay alive, especially considering that Spidey was still full health and he was still alive. I would have instead say that you should have just gotten like as soon as you heard the again, you could have dashed away. You could have dashed to like the health pack. I just would have personally gotten out. Oh wait, Venom is in there too. Well, I think I maybe see the vision of you trying to like go in with your Venom, but with my supports down and stuff like that, I probably would have played a bit more passive. Give up some ticks in order to, try and recontest afterwards. Because once you're dead, and everybody's just dead, right? There was nothing in there in that group fight where I was confident that you could have gotten anything and gotten out alive. And that's something that's important to remember is that, in a lot of these games, what you're trying to do is, you know, take the smart fights, right? Take the smart engages because there's sometimes you just can't do anything. And it's best just to sort of let them have space and then try to take it back afterwards. This is good. Dealing with the Black Panther. Watch the Black Panther. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Bucky is like a huge anti-flanker DPS as far as I'm concerned. Like he's really good at shutting down Psylocke's, Black Panthers, because of his hook and because of his sustain. So anytime that you see him, I want you just to poke him out every single time. Whoops. Yeah, just keep spamming down the choke. This seems fine. You could nice. Good hook. I feel like we're kind of playing for ult right now, which is fine. What's tough about these situations is use the yep. Now we're just trying to survive. Let's see what else do we have going on here. Oh, good pick. You almost got your ult again. Stay alive. Wait for this to run out. There. Well done. It was really well done. The patience on that to you just saw someone. Maybe you missed him. The patience on that to just play back, stay alive, and wait for the invisible woman ult to run out was really well done. Okay, now we have what is called like the downtime in between fights, right? This is sort of repositioning time, right? Before, what I didn't like is that you were all grouped up with your team still, and you see how like Hella can be up here, like already preemptively taking space. I personally would have tried maybe to get a little bit closer and get to like a high ground position, or if that wasn't safe, like walk around to the back. Because like right now we're all clumped up in like this one area and nobody is controlling that high ground space, right? You could be up there already, shooting down on the people coming in and using that as cover. Because like right now we're just kind of like all grouped up, all lumped up, and we play This is what I call rock'em sock'em robots. This is where both teams, both teams line up here, and they all pump as much damage as fastball at each other, and then hitting their ultimates, and then just waiting to see which one falls over first, right? I personally, I like to play in the way where my team is facing them. Uh, their team is facing us, and then I am like over here just being like, I'm just going to be really annoying to the rest of you. I don't even have to necessarily get a lot of kills. I just need to distract you a little bit until someone else hits you for not paying attention. Good hook. Good wall. Cuz at worst, you can like use your abilities to fall back in with your team. Good focus on the hella. Good dodge on the hook. You guys they both grew it at the same amount of time. They did. Saving the same brain cell. Yeah. Oh, that works. It was really well done. Really well done. I mean, so far so good. But once again, like this position here, like literally you have, I think that's Doctor Strange there. There's you here. There's Groot here. If they shoot in a straight line, they're hitting somebody, right? This is why I don't like standing next to my teammates. All of us in there just take too much damage. And then, I mean, like uh it's not the worst thing in the world, but the problem is the fact that because, uh you guys have triple support instead of DPS. So if Moon Knight is just chucking onks and damage into the team, you're all taking that damage. And then all Bucky needs to do is land one good bursted headshot at the right time and somebody falls over. Good kill. Yeah. And because of the fact that everybody groups up, it makes it a lot easier to get things like Moon Knight ult off and get a pick out of it. Like you got out of it, right? But if everybody was a bit more spread out, like up here or something, it would have been easier to try and keep more people alive. And like it's cool that Rocket has the res, but imagine if like you and Rocket were up top here, right? You and Rocket were up top, Cloak was here, tanks are here. Adam was doing, I don't know, Adam things, whatever he wants to do. But if you have this sort of spacing, right, then all of a sudden Moon Knight has to ult and he's got to be like, well, who do I ult here? Do I go for the Bucky up top who's just like spamming at us? It's not a good idea to go for Rocket because he can, dash away. Do I try to hit the cloak? Like because of the fact that everyone is grouped up, it makes it super tempting to just be like, oh, I'll just use this in this one spot, and then he gets a bunch of kills for it. Like so far, things are working. Say that seemed like a bit of an aggressive ult, but oh no, that's an aggressive ult. Force the Luna ult, not bad. Back away. Yeah, that one. That one, I think the unfortunate part of that is, just tracking Groot ult because there's sometimes when playing heroes like uh who's one? Like I'll play Strange. I'll play Doctor Strange, and I'll legitimately let Bucky hook me so I can ult his team easier because he'll hook me and then push me into his team, and then I'll just hit Q. Right? Hooking a Groot, kind of like the same concept. Like you're kind of setting them up, and then yeah, because of the fact that everyone's grouped up, during this time, the mistake that you made was that here Here you ult really aggressively, and the moment that you hear Luna ult, it was an unfortunate miss ult, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway because Luna popped hers. This is the time to leave, right? This ult, I hate this ult. This ult is 12 seconds of you not being allowed to play the game. Nothing anyone does in this time is going to kill any one of them. So literally, you just give up that space and just let them walk at you because even then, like they pushed here and the payload is still all the way around the corner, right? What you want to do in this situation is just leave. Like just leave. Just like let them use the entirety of that ult trying to walk forward, right? Uh because then by the time they get to the objective and it's time to actually fight for the objective, they don't have that Luna ult now, right? And they have Invisible Woman ult, but that is far less oppressive. But here, because this is also why you don't group up or don't stand next to each other, right? So they're running Groot Moon Knight, which means that their whole strategy is for Groot to ult and then him to press Q, and that works really effectively when everybody stands right next to each other, right? That's why it's best to try and keep your distance. I would go to the right because they're going to block off the left. Oh, good hook. Problem is everybody came out the same way though, so yeah. Nice. That was a good kill. I think you're screwed though. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I think what got your whole team there was just that this situation right here. In terms of just like what you could do, like everybody always has something they could have done differently. But yeah, during this time, you're pumping damage and it doesn't matter, right? And this is what happens when one mistake sort of like snowballs out of control, where you look back and you're like, oh, maybe if I wouldn't have done that, then it would have been we might have been able to hold them there. Um, and yeah, whenever the enemy team has like a Groot or a Doctor Strange or I can't remember, there's other heroes I've done it on too, but it's just like sometimes I legitimately am playing for the idea that like I want to get pulled. So not every target that you can pull is one that you want to pull, right? uh it's always better if you can nab the targets that are much harder to kill. But like once again, like you heard Luna ult and you grabbed the tank, and even if you pulled him out of Luna's range and pumped as much damage as possible from the team, Luna was so close, he probably wasn't going to die, right? So during this time, save your resources, back up, let that crap run out, and then just you know, and then just regroup after the fight, or regroup yourselves after the ult runs out, and try to take the fight then. Because if your team was backing up, then like maybe Groot could have shielded it, maybe or walled it off. Maybe Strange could have blocked a lot of the incoming damage. I know that you like to play Psylocke as well. Me personally, whenever I see a Moon Knight on the enemy team, I like to go Psylocke just because of the fact that he's very easy for me to kill. So I don't think you should be afraid to stick with Psylocke here. But also Psylocke, I don't think works necessarily super great sometimes as a solo DPS. But so once again, here you have to deal with the Hulk, which is fine. But yeah, once again, like those Moon Knight ults just get too easy to do because of the fact that your whole team, including yourself, is just all standing together, and that just forces you guys back as they get a pick every time. Nice. Nice. Very nice. Well done. That was good. He was going for something cheesy there, and it worked. I hate how effectively that worked. But yeah, this is yeah, everybody like nobody on this team has figured it out yet, but all the squishies and everybody is standing directly next to each other. Uh and Strange on the other side. People need to be a little bit more brave at standing a bit more spread out because grouping together against a Groot is what's killing you guys. Especially given the fact that like your defensive alts are a cloak and dagger and you have an Atom Warlock. You cannot be standing near each other. This is where like if you had a Luna, maybe it would help. But even then, like I think if you had like a Luna and a Moon Knight combo, they might still kind of kill through some of that. Invisible Woman, I feel like they would. I'm not sure about the Luna, but yeah, that you know, this is the point where like there's a lot of players who are mechanically very gifted at the game, but they all tend to fall into that whole like rock'em sock'em robot idea. And even as a character who doesn't have a lot of like super huge, I just realized the volume was probably like way low in the game. Um, like if you're playing characters that don't have a lot of like mobility, it might be kind of tempting to always just like stand near your team, but you still need to take like soft off angles, right? Like Psylocke, you can take extreme ones where in this position you could immediately dash up there and start applying pressure down below, right? But as Bucky, you're gonna want to instead be like, here's my team. Maybe I can be in this room over here, right? It's a softer off angle, but it's still an off angle nonetheless. This isn't bad. Using the infinite ammo. I personally would have wished he would have waited to get it up a bit sooner. Get up a bit closer before using it. Oh, nice. Huge, huge. Yeah. So once again, like everybody, including your Punisher, everybody's in the same pathway, right? Everybody's taking damage at once, and they still have the Moon Knight. I would be over here. Strange is holding this side. He's got here. Groot is holding this way. Nobody is holding over here. Right. And then you get the amplifier out. And what is unfortunate is maybe it was the wall that like broke the LOS. And that's what caused the problem. But like, yeah, like everybody is grouped up in this area and you have really hard really have a hard time like aiming anything over here. Whereas if you were on the other side here and Punisher was here and tanks were here, you'd have a lot more different ways and areas to shoot. Because a lot of times, what the enemy is doing is they're ducking behind like this one box and they're covered from your entire team. Like they don't need to. They could just hide behind this box and in this area out in the open, and they're still entirely covered. Uh, you know, I even if I was to be super brave and go like at an extreme off angle behind the boxes over here and, take a more harsh off angle, like I might have done that because part of playing DPS and, um, playing games like this is that on offense, you have to take a risk at times, right? You have to be a little bit more aggressive and take a sort of calculated risk where you're like, if I go over here, I know I'm going to put myself in a really rough position. But if I'm in this position, it's a much easier time for me to get picks or possibly kill someone. and it's worth the risk. And I think with like your mechanical skill, you can be a bit more confident taking some of those angles at times and trying to take that risk because all you need to do is win one good team fight and you can cap that first point.
Armed and dangerous. Again.
And yeah, then they just get to like ult better. Oh, yes, Psylocke. I like this. I like this with the Punisher. And this is just in general, guys, something I've noticed when I play my own games. If you have two flankers, both trying to flank at the same time, the problem is that the rest of the team tends to get like pushed over when when the enemy team has like strong just turtling players like this, right? I actually really love playing like a Psylocke and having the other DPS be like with my team, like a Punisher or a Bucky, and just like pumping damage that way. So that way, I know that there's a lot of damage coming from one direction, and then I can go around the other direction, and I know that I don't have to worry about my team being able to apply pressure, right? Because yeah, if you have double flanker, sometimes your team gets walked over, and a lot of times if you have, you know, two strong non-mobile heroes, they tend to like stand next to each other. This is good. Find the rocket. Wait, do they have? No, they don't have a rocket. Derp. You have a rocket. This is good. I like this. Okay. Yep. Apply damage. Just shoot, 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 shoot. Yep. Okay, so right here, there's no one that you can dash to that close the distance on that you would really ultimately want to do that with. And this is like you fighting like with your team again and like dash out into the point. And the problem here is that look at Bucky's position and how safe he is up here, right? He has this cover up here. He can just freely shoot down on everyone down below. You dash out into the open and now you have no resources and you are stuck in a really bad position, right? I would be searching around, trying to play towards other areas. Like, there we go. Like right here, there's cover here, there's walk around, there's cover here. When you dash directly onto the point, you have to be really sure that they're going to fall over if you do. The good part is they are hitting every ultimate that they have. Did they need to hit Invisible Woman ult after they hit Luna ult? No. Did they need to hit the Moon Knight ult after the Groot ult? No. They didn't. They only needed to use 2 ults and they would have had that point. I like this angle, by the way. I like coming on this side. But you see, like, already... All right, this is a good time to look at this, right? Already, look at how... Okay, he's going to die, but that's just Groot doing Groot things. Look at, like, just like you walking up here, I want you to take notice about how you on Psylocke are on this side, and they're still all looking this direction, right? If you were Bucky earlier, look at how much more space you see of everyone else on the enemy team and how now this cover that they were standing behind before is no longer safe. It was safe before because everybody was lined up down there. Now, everyone is doing that thing where they're all playing Rock'em Sock'ems down this direction, and you are free to get into a position over here. And you also know that they don't have any support ults. Exactly. Find the support. Go find the support. Go find the support. Okay, this is working out, but I want you to remember, there's usually like a 2-2-2 scenario, right? So let's hypothetically, we'll go into these different hypothetical situations. After you ulted and killed the Luna, then you find the other support and you start harassing them. That support now has 2 choices. They can either try and heal their team and die for it, or they can defend themselves, right? And then they can't heal their team. So the moment that you get this really high priority pick with your ultimate to open the fight up, even if all you do is waste her time, the rest of them fall over, right? Now let's hypothetically, you know, say something similar where you kill Moon Knight first, right? Now the only person left is a Bucky. Let's say that you kill the Moon Knight and then you go and you turn and you start just distracting the Bucky, right? Like you can't kill, you don't find a high priority pick from anyone else. So you just start distracting the Bucky, and the Bucky is shooting at you. Now you and him are both broken even, but they don't have uh their Moon Knight either, right? Then the rest of their team, rest of your team, with like the help of Punisher, would be fighting tanks and supports, right? Tanks and supports is just not enough damage to kill your team. And as long as your Punisher was still alive, they would just be able to walk through the rest of them, right? This is how you can just like you can play a little bit like smarter on the engages and be like, who can I just distract in this moment that would help my team, right? Even if I don't necessarily get the kill, who would be the next best target for me to try and attack or deal with? Like, of course, you're going to win this fight. Your team just naturally had ult advantage. But in that moment, I want you to be thinking to yourself, after you kill one support like that, to immediately start going for the next one. Also, I'd be a little. You did get the Luna or the Luna, but be mindful to try and get as you dash her more in the these heroes more in the center if you can. It was a little far back, but it's fine. You got the pick and you engage with it. You helped encourage your team to move forward. All right, where are you going to go now? You 41% ult charge. The team is pushing up. You just saw Hulk. Oh, no, no, no. Okay, that's just unfortunate. I don't think I really have anything to say on that one. This happens to the best of us. I do like that you were going for an angle, and I think that it's just like as Hulk showed up, he showed up a little late and you didn't expect it, and then the dash got stuck. I do like this though, because me personally, I think your mind might have been in the same place as like I think if you hit this thing, it goes across to the other side, and then you have this high ground and you're shooting down on them from up here. You have ways to get out over here. Um, and you can pressure him off. But this is the power of like taking other angles, right? Like if everybody is down the same pathway and down the same pathway, you're looking to just see who has more like team potential to like kill each other in massive big amounts of damage. And uh and this team comp, that's what they do. This is what they do is they turtle together and then play for ultimates and then win that way. And the way that you get around that is by you taking these angles. So even though you died here, I don't think it's a bad thing because of the fact that you had the right idea. I like the idea of like going up here and pressuring them out, because even if you don't get any kills, just you being up there as a threat will be enough to push them back, especially given the fact that they don't have any ults. So, dying here, not a bad thing. Like, once again, I've said it before, I'd much rather see people die doing the correct thing than to live doing nothing or die, die in situations of being silly, like near their team or something. Okay, here you can't do much of anything, just like build your ult. No, don't go to Bucky. Okay, you're gonna stay at Psylocke, right? Yeah. I'm gonna say. Right there though, I'm not sure what you were thinking, but like you had a fair amount of ult charge, and with your cooldowns being shortened with every left click from Psylocke, build your ult like right now, just constantly, nonstop. Shoot, 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 shoot. Watch the cover. Watch the cover. There you go. Build your ult. Build your ult. Shoot the tanks. I don't care. Shoot anything. Dash to someplace else. There you go. Good angle. Good angle. Shoot, 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 shoot. Build that ult. Build that ult. Huge ult. Nice. There we go. Just shoot indiscriminately. Good. Good. Keep shooting, keep shooting, keep shooting. All you're doing right now is building your next ult. Just keep shooting nonstop. Shooting the people at the back. Yep. That's good. Can you follow up on anyone? Yep. This is good. Yeah, dashing away, getting out of danger. Don't worry about the walls. You can't do anything against them as Psylocke. Just keep shooting that group. Apply that pressure to those tanks. Yep. Oh, no. Fight's going on. Fight's going on. Okay. This was wasted time. You do not have time in this situation to reposition. This is where the fight is happening, and you guys have the advantage knowing that Bruce is dead or Hulk is dead. And all you need to do and all everyone needs to do is pump as much damage as possible into these rooms to keep them from doing anything, especially given that your Groot is really low. You need to start applying pressure to this guy, right? He is the closest one that you can shoot right now that will offer any sort of value, right? Just shoot nonstop. Like, keep shooting. Because like the moment that they start to walk through, and this is the part that's kind of a bummer, is like you... Let's see here, right here. Your reticle is on head level. It's so perfect. And I just want you to just nonstop be like pressing left click and spamming right click in this direction as they are all grouped up. Remember what I talked about where like I said, I don't like you staying next to your team because you're all grouped up, because even if, you know, you're just shooting indiscriminately, you're going to take damage. This is that right there. Just pump them full of damage. Just everybody shoot all at once in this area. Just shoot. Especially given the fact that you are 91% to your ult, right? Just pump them full of damage, especially knowing that you know they don't have support ults, right? And instead, this is where things kind of go bad. Like, you go and you back out, and now your team has lost the fight. In those few seconds of you turning your head away, they were able to turn the fight. This is good, though. You might still be able to do it. Really good ult.
Shall be undone by his own essence. How good.
The vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Shoot. You need your ult. Shoot. Nonstop. Shoot. Standing next to your team, though. See how you're taking all that damage? Don't stand next to them. There you go. Being a pain. Oh, Moon Knight. I think you... Oh. I would say be careful. I would have stood on the other side, because like you're already sort of like out of like Psylocke's range. So when you're... Oh. I want you to notice something here, and you might not even have calculated it, but like watch as how like all game you have been getting caught in Groot ults, right? And now that you're off angling and you're standing away from your team, you're not in it, right? I wouldn't do that, because now you don't have your dashes for when the Invisible Woman ult ultimately runs out, and you're not going to kill anything or do anything during Luna ult, so all you should be doing is trying to build your ult charge. Because now you need your dashes and you don't have them. Yeah, see? When you see those support ults, if you can't confidently kill anything, you just try to survive them. Right now, you're pumping damage into a tank that's not doing anything. I'd be careful with that because then you're just charging support ults, especially given that, like, there's times to shoot when you need to apply pressure and other times where it's just not going to do anything. Like, when your team starts to move up, then I would start shooting, but that's a bit nitpicky. Standing next to your team. Yep. So this is what I was talking about earlier when I was like, make sure that when you dash and you ult on people, you can get them like in the center because of they could walk out of it. Like Psylocke ult moves slightly slower than like the walking speed. So what would have been better here in this situation is if you, instead of like coming out with your team and going this direction, you walked around the side and then you ulted here, right? Then all of a sudden, your team is pushing this way. Your ult has sectioned off this entire area. They are pincered and they can't do anything. You know, dashing up to avoid the freeze, yeah, that is usually what you do. But because of the fact that they were already so far back that they could just walk back around the corner and give up space and, you know, get out of your ult. It was a bit ballsy because you dashed in and you didn't have any way to get out. And personally, so let's go back here. Watch. This amplifier is up. Now, when this amplifier is up, you can shoot the tanks, right? I give you full permission that when this is active, that you shoot anything. It doesn't even matter what. Everything becomes squishy to you during this amplifier. And during this time, like, once again, be careful of using your dashes. The moment you lose your dashes, you're screwed. So like, I know you go into like flank and get on the backside, but you put yourself in a really dangerous position this way by only having your cloak to get out, which is typically not enough. During that time when that amplifier is active, don't ult, don't don't be too crazy with your cooldowns. Just use the amplifier and use the damage coming out of that to pump as much as you can into the enemy team from the front versus the side here, because now, like, you put yourself in a position where you can't fully utilize the entirety of the amplifier because you need to get out, because you had to be cloaked during that time and now you got to be around cover recovering your health, and now it runs out. Whereas if you were just focusing with your team, you probably would have killed more people. Ooh, get him. Oh. That was good, though. I don't think you needed to cloak there. Careful, and this is something that like I always have to be mindful of too. Like sometimes I use cloak to move someplace faster, but like it's still a powerful cooldown. You don't want to necessarily use it if you don't have to. Pump damage, pump damage, pump damage. Leave. Leave. Or back cap. Oh wait, no, it's the end of the game.
Final score 2-3.
Okay. You did well. Like, you actually have your Bucky is way better than mine for sure. As Psylocke, you sometimes forget when you use your mobility to have another dash to get out, right? You're playing a little bit more ballsy, whereas like you don't need to always have the big plays. Sometimes all you need to do is just play with the advantage that you've got, to get a pick and then get out, right? She is an assassin, so she can get those high quality top priority picks and then just leave, right? A 5v6 is still an advantage for your team, and even if you push slow, or 6v5, even if you push slow in a 6v5, you still you still have the advantage there. It's you'll still eventually just walk them over if all you do is pump out damage. Because if 6 people are pumping out damage versus like 5, you'll naturally just burn through them faster than they'll burn through you, right? So there's lots of times where like as Psylocke you would die because of the fact that like you get a little too aggressive thinking that you needed to make a play when you sort of forget your positioning or forget your resource management. Um, and with Bucky, it's just being a little bit more confident in your skills to, take a slightly more, uh, more aggressive off angle or to, stand away from your team a little bit and take a different direction. Like, uh, and just prioritizing like, hooking certain targets or just like when you see a Luna alt, just back away. Like, there's nothing that you can do. There's no amount of damage that you can do to kill anything and all I try to do when I see Luna ult pop up is I just try to charge my ult off of it. Like I just try to back up, give up space, and use that time to charge my ult and try and get it so that way the moment it runs out, then I could do something. I forget who was I watching your Bucky earlier? I think it was your Bucky where you waited, yeah, until like the invisible woman ult ran out. Like you had that perfect timing of like, waiting until the defensive ult was down and then going on the offensive. Like you had it really well at that part. And then in other parts, like when, you ulted in super aggressively and you forced the Luna ult, and then you hook the Groot ult in while Luna was ulting, that kind of like screwed yourself over in that one situation because then gaining that momentum back, especially on that second point when it's very easy to wall people off on the left side and everybody was funneling in through the left side, uh, it makes it very hard to retake the objective when after you've lost it on that second point. Um, but yeah, and for Psylocke, try to use your abilities and your mobility and whatnot with your ult to not just like dash up into the team and then go down on them if this is like a flat round here. Cause like, if you ult here and Luna is here, she might still be able to get out. The supports might be able to get out. Whereas instead, and now we're gonna go top down to make it extra confusing. If your team is here, Luna is here. Instead of like dashing up and trying to alter or whatever, take a few extra seconds to go around the backside with your mobility and your invisibility, and then just alt on top of them from behind there. It's not a bad thing to try and dash up and try and alt on top of them, but you have to be sure that you can close the gap enough that they're not going to be able to walk out of it as easily, right? Your alt is both an ability to kill, but is also like a zoning tool. You can use it to say like, hey, you know what? I know that the way that they're going to want to retreat, on that, oof, my goodness, on that like first point, there's this hole in here and there's like the med pack here, right? If you walk through here and you're like, here's Luna, I'm going to alt in this section. Now you know this whole area is not safe for her, right? And that pushes her into your team, right? So even if she were to get out, she were to be pushed into your team. But if you alt here, then she goes back to where she wants to be anyway, even if she managed to survive. Uh, and that's ultimately what happened on point 3 as well. Is you dashed up, you alted, and a few extra seconds to go around to the backside might have saved you there. But like overall, I think that you are you are mechanically like really good. It's just a matter of just like, changing your positioning a little bit, being a little bit more brave on Bucky and not forgetting to save yourself a dash or reposition to a different angle on Psylocke, and you get a lot more value out of your ults and stuff. Oh, and when your team is fighting, you don't have time to reposition. Always remember that. But yeah, overall, I think that like you have really solid mechanics and you'll do really well to carry yourself, I think, after this. It's just yeah, and especially knowing that you can play Bucky and Psylocke, like I think it's always good to have both like a flanker in your arsenal as well as like somebody who can like hunker down. So yeah, just take these lessons and apply them and let me know how it goes. But otherwise, like, you know, really good stuff. Like I saw a lot of really amazing plays from you. I'd say it's just a matter of like, polishing a few more things. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful. Let me know how it goes, and yeah, thanks for submitting.